Jalani, and welcome back to Channel RN. Today we're going to be discussing Doherty Valley High School social media usage and also their students' knowledge in the fields of finance.
We'll also be looking at a sports segment with Doherty Valley's first women's varsity wrestler, Jasmine Lamb.
My name is Jasmine, and I'm on the varsity women's wrestling team. And I joined the team my sophomore year of high school. I joined because I thought I wanted to try something like new and different, and they were starting a girls team, so I was like, why not? I think that initially we weren't really accepted by the guys team, because just like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just wasn't, we weren't like vibing, you know? Yeah. But I think as time went on and we showed that we can actually do what they do, because like we do practice together and stuff, and we do work as hard and like commit the same amount of time, if not more. Conquered that obstacle of like earning the respect of the guys, you know what I mean? In my sophomore year, we were the first women's wrestling team in the entire district, and now it's really cool to see how the sport has grown. Like, I remember freshman or like sophomore year NCS, there was only like a couple hundred people, like, and then last year there were like an additional couple hundred people, so it was like really interesting to see how the sport has grown within itself. And then also like within the league as well, like other schools like SRV and like Dublin has grown their programs.
Continuing on with the girls wrestling team segment, we have founder and former wrestling coach at Doherty Valley High School with a few words.
Mr. Clemente, I was the former head coach of the Doherty Valley wrestling team. I started the inaugural group that created the girls wrestling. Before we had a whole group, we had several individual girls coming out for wrestling. We had 1 year where we had one girl, another year we'd have 3 or 4, and it wasn't until I would say 3 years ago that we started with about 14 girls for the whole season. Last year they had about 20. This year they have about a little less than 20. But the group has kind of grown and has matured and has stayed as a regular presence in the wrestling room. I'm a big believer in girls being part of wrestling. I think it's the best way to grow the sport. I believe the girls are just as deserving as all the boys. And I'm glad that there are girls here willing to take on the mantle of being a wrestler. I know one of the fastest growing sports in the United States for girls is wrestling. It's actually doubling the sport's number. There are more girls tournaments this year, high school girls tournaments, than ever before.
Next, we're going to be talking to a senior class officer at Doherty Valley High School.
Hi, my name is Sabitha Chada, and I'm the senior class secretary at Doherty Valley High School. One of my roles as secretary is to promote events on Instagram. We actually use the Instagram a lot at our school to publicize events and activities and showcase our students. And I'm really lucky that I have my phone to do this because it's really easy. All I have to do is take a picture and post it online, and I get to share all the activities going on at the school with 800 people.
Now, let's get a closer look at the financial world with AP Economics teacher, Mr. Farmer.
Hi, I'm Mr. Farmer. I teach AP Economics here at Doherty Valley High School.
How educated are your students in the field of finance?
Some are very practiced in that they've been doing their own budget for a really long time. That's a pretty small population. More often though, they have very little actual application of finance, but there's definitely a variance. Some are working and they're managing their money, and some have never even thought about that.
So do they overall live up to your expectations of how much high schoolers should know in the fields of finance?
Yeah, I think it's pretty typical that most people in high school that they haven't thought too much about that, because usually they don't have to make that decision as far as to buy or not buy or how much do things cost, because it's made available if it's whatever means it is. It just isn't a topic that's brought up as much, so I try and bring it up as a concept in my class, actually.
Do you think your like economics class helps like kids grow in this field?
I hope so. I think part of the goal is getting students ready for post-high school and if it's living on their own. So it's a big jump to that. So hopefully, if nothing else, it starts them thinking about that and that it's something to talk about.
And also, do you think our school does a good job of like educating our kids in the field of this and preparing them for the future?
Well, all seniors in California, but our school specific, everybody has to take an econ course, either a high school or a full year, depending on the AP or the regular. We also have an intro to finance class, which counts as a math course, but it's also available. So the conversation is available, and just hopefully students take advantage of it.
Okay, thank you so much.
So today we got to see the overall campus life at Doherty Valley High School.
Thank you for tuning in to Channel RM News.